everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing Curse of the Sphinx by Ray Wagner. So this book is the Utopia Book Club Book of the Month, and I'm so excited that we all got to read it together because it was a very interesting book. This is a spoiler-free review, so do not worry, you will not be spoiled by me in this video. But if you do want a spoilery review about what my thoughts are on this book more in depth, we're having a live show, Reagan and I, please join us. The information will be down in the doobly-doo. Okay, so Curse of the Sphinx, of course, it's about a Sphinx, and the main character Hope, she is a Sphinx, and her mother is a Sphinx. And her grandmother is a Sphinx. That is a fun word that I really get tongue-tied saying. And honestly, I had to Google what a Sphinx was because I kind of had an idea what it was, but I wasn't able to picture it that well in the book, so I had to Google it and be like, okay, so that's what she turns into once a month. Very nice. That's fun and yikes. So, the Sphinx. This world is very interesting because everybody in this world believes in the Greek gods, and yes, some of them don't really believe in them that much. It's kind of like in our world, how some of us believe in God, some of us do not believe in God, and our beliefs are differing. So that's kind of like how this world is, but instead of just one god, they have many gods, and they're the Greek gods. And the mythology in this book is actually very well done, and I really appreciate that because although I don't read that many mythology novels, I do appreciate when one is done well because I could tell because a lot of research obviously went into this book, especially with the Sphinx, because the Sphinx, who would think that was going to be a plotline in a book? I've never heard of it, so it's very unique. So the Sphinxes in this book are not looked upon with great grace. They're looked upon as something you want to kill because a Sphinx is not really a great thing. They actually call it a monster. So that really is weird because the main character Hope, she's obviously not a monster. She is a regular girl that I can see myself being friends with. Like, what? So obviously there's a little bit of tension between Hope, her mother, and the rest of the world. But they do not know that she's a Sphinx, so they have to keep themselves hidden, and in order of doing so, her mother and her have to move around a lot in order to stay hidden until they get caught by the gods and they kill her mother, and then Hope is left on her own. Besides her aunt, but her aunt goes off on a journey to find some stuff that I'm not going to spoil for you, but technically Hope is alone in this world now, and she needs to really fend for herself now, and it is a very interesting journey throughout this whole entire novel, seeing how she copes with the loss of her mom, and then copes with her being the Sphinx, and then the love life, and then all of the emotional turmoil that goes down. It's a very interesting novel to read about. I definitely recommend this book to people who like Jennifer L. Armentrout books because I know that I love Jennifer L. Armentrout books, and this definitely had a vibe to it that was a very easy book to read and still had those really fun aspects in it as well. Okay, so one point I just have to touch upon, which I do every time that it's in a book I read, is the death of a mother or father, because my own mom died, I did not know, and I take those things very seriously in novels, and I'm really critical about it because it can offend me really easily. But in this book, they actually handled it quite well. Hope's emotions did kind of mirror emotions that are realistic to the loss of a parent. I feel like it's really underwhelmed in many books when a parent is dead because they're like, oh no, my mom or my dad died. Oh gosh, sadness. Okay, let's get on with this. Oh, look at that guy, he's really hot. Let's have a relationship with him. It's very just like quick, and it's not really covered upon to the extent that it should be. So in this book, at the beginning, I feel like after her mom died, it was kind of covered, but then it wasn't as covered as I would have liked. But later on, you see the repercussions of the emotional impact that it has on her life. So I did appreciate that because she's like, oh my gosh, I'm alone in this world. My mom's not here anymore to help me, and she's my mom. She's gone, and it's really sad. So I do appreciate how that aspect of it was brought out in a semi-realistical light. So Hope, she moves to a new town because she's like, I can't be killed like my mother. So she moves to a new town. She gets a whole entire new life. She lives by herself in a house, and I'm like, girl, you're 16 and you live by yourself? I am just living by myself and I'm almost 19. I couldn't do that. Well, maybe I could, I don't know, but I just like talking to people, so I always like people living with me so I could chat with them. I'm a chatty Cathy. So she's a very good student, and she really just wants to keep on the DL, and I really like that aspect of her because she isn't gonna jump into this new life and be like, oh, look at that guy, I want to be with him, ooh, I want to make friends, yay. She was a very realistic character in that sense that she's like, okay, I have this thing that's a part of me, a Sphinx, and I have to keep that as goal number one to keep hidden, and then like the rest comes second and third and fourth. So she really just wants to focus on getting out of this situation alive. So there is romance in this book, and I did like how it was done because honestly, I thought it was going to be really fast-paced romance, but it was actually quite slow, and it didn't actually happen until the last third of the book, so I did appreciate that because it wasn't forced upon us. And I do like how relationships in young adult novels evolve over a certain amount of time, not just pushed right into the face of the reader like that, because that's not fun, that's not realistic, and it's kind of off-putting. You obviously know who the love interest is, though, from the very first page, so it's kind of like, okay, I know who's gonna be, but there are some things in this book that took me by surprise surprised, and I'm not gonna say what it is, but at the end I was like, oh, I thought that somebody so-and-so knew something about other so-and-so, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't actually a thing? Okay, cool. I'm being vague, but I have to be vague because I do not want to spoil you. So like, I did enjoy that aspect of it. And then moving on to another aspect, which is the Sphinx. So I love the aspect of the Sphinx in this because it's not usually something that you would think about somebody putting in a young adult novel, or any novel really, at least myself, that I wouldn't have thought about before, because that this person would be like this special flower in the novel, and she's gonna be really beautiful, awesome, and if she has a secret power, it's gonna be really awesome, and ooh, sultry, you know, that kind of thing. But a Sphinx is technically a monster, and that's what she turns into. She's not turning into a golden butterfly, she's turning into a monster, and I love that because it was totally unpredictable, and I love unpredictability in books. It really makes me feel unstable, and I like that. One thing I do have to say about this book is that it was a little bit slow, a lot of slow in the middle of it, and I wish it was just a little bit more faster to pick up the pace within it, because a lot of the time she was just going through her daily life, like going to school, coming back home, eating, and then Aiden, the main guy character in this, comes over, and like, you know, that just happens a lot. And I wish that some of that was more action, or could have just been completely cut out, and just the storyline could have progressed more quickly, and I would have liked that. But honestly, it wasn't that bad, and I'm just saying that because I have been having workshops in creative writing, and it makes me think critically about novels now, and it's changed my life. But even though it was slow at the beginning, but even though it was slow in the middle, it was still okay. I still enjoy myself reading it, and I read it quite quickly. Like, it wasn't like that slowness that you are just like trudging through and it's awful. It's more of like that slowness that's like, okay, it's still interesting, so I'll keep on reading, but it's not as exciting as certain other parts of this book. So that was cool. Okay, so all in all, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy it, and I could see all you Percy Jackson fans / Jennifer L. Armentrout fans really liking this book as well. It was really fun, the romance was good, and the action was really, really interesting, because honestly, I really like action in a book, and I like when it's realistic. So like, the main character isn't the best fighter, but she could sure kick some ass. Really appreciate that. So that is all for today's review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to go check out this book, I'll be linking it down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!